At the Mid-Level Commissioners, we have been proudly managing water levels in the Fens since 1862. Towards the end of September 2024, we pass 90 years of pumping at Wiggenhall St Germans and celebrate the engineering achievement that Pathé News at the time christened the Wonder of the Fens. The Middle Level Commissioners are a public authority comprising agricultural ratepayers who benefit from the drainage services provided by their watercourses and assets. The Commissioners elect a board and via an executive committee appoint a chief executive who leads a small staffing structure to deliver their various statutory duties and responsibilities. We own and operate two major land drainage pumping stations. These work in combination with approximately 190 kilometres of waterway and 300 kilometres of raised embankments to convey excess water from and provide flood resilience to land, property, infrastructure and businesses within our 750 square kilometre catchment. Whilst the Fens is known for being flat, the catchment's higher land towards and beyond the A1 is very responsive to rainfall and funnels water quickly into the lowest land in the country, well below sea level. We provide the second tier of drainage, along with 25 internal drainage boards and a handful of private districts that either pump via over 70 stations into our system or gravity drain into our system. These days, all excess rainfall that falls within our catchment area is artificially managed and is pumped up to 3 times to discharge it into the tidal Great Ouse River, where it flows into the Wash. However, this hasn't always been the case. As the great drainage of the Fens began in the 17th century, the primary outfall of our system was via gravity at Salter's Lode via what we now know today as Well Creek. A secondary gravity outfall was created by the engineer Vermuyden via what we now know as the 40-foot drain at Welsh's Dam. The term gravity in this context is used to describe a watercourse that conveys water via a fall in level, from higher ground to lower ground, a phenomenon that is increasingly rare in the Fens as land levels have shrunk, sea levels have risen, and also there's been a rise in bed level of the tidal rivers. It was the combination of shrinking of land and rising seas that threatened the Fens. To combat this, the Bedford Level Corporation, who were in charge of drainage at the time, secured in 1795 the first piece of legislation that enabled it to eventually straighten a major section of the Great Ouse Tidal River, and this was called the Obrink Cut, which was opened in 1821. Up until this had happened, the primary option to improve drainage within the middle level was to create a new drainage cut and primary outfall of our system into the River Nene at Wisbech. However, the Obrink Cut enabled the middle level main drain to be conceived. Legislation was passed in 1844 and a new channel extending the 16-foot drain at 3 holes, some 13 kilometres, to a new outfall at Wiggenhall St Germans was created. As part of these works, the Mullercourt Aqueduct was constructed to convey Well Creek over the new middle level main drain, and also an outfall sluice was installed at the confluence of the main drain with the tidal river to protect the system from tidal flooding. The middle level sluice was the first structure at the outfall of the middle level main drain. It was constructed in 1848 by the engineers Burgess and Walker, but it didn't last long as a storm surge in 1862 collapsed the sluice and caused breaching of the banks along the new main drain. This was the same year that the Middle Level Commissioners were constituted, as powers for drainage in our area were transferred to us from the Bedford Level Corporation. The collapse of the middle level sluice led to the urgent design and installation of a temporary earth dam and siphon system. This work was undertaken by Sir John Hawkshaw, and in parallel he developed plans for a more permanent structure. Hawkshaw's permanent solution was to create a bypass channel around the earth dam and a new sluice, which was subsequently named after him. The bypass channel does not exist today, but its footprint is just about visible from aerial photographs. The plaque that marked the opening of the sluice is now situated on the wall along Sluice Road. In the 1920s, gravity discharge from the middle level was deemed insufficient as land had continued to shrink and sea and tidal river bed levels continued to rise. This had led to the loss of over a metre of fall between the town of March and St Germans. The advent of diesel engines in the early part of the 20th century enabled Major R.G. Clark, the Commissioner's chief engineer at the time, to get creative, and he designed a new sluice and pumps at St Germans, which came online in 1934. The original station was effectively two stations, had 3 diesel pumps with a gravity sluice in between them. Following the floods of Easter 98, there was the need for a strategic review of the middle level system. This review concluded that a new pumping station at St Germans was needed. Construction of the original station. Originally built with the capability to discharge 40 cubic metres of water per second with 3 diesel pumps, it was the largest land drainage and flood defence pumping station in the UK. A fourth pump was added in 1951, with 2 of the original pumps modified in 1969-70 and a third modified in 1982-83. The station's final configuration of 2 diesel and 2 electric pumps had a maximum discharge capacity of 70 cubic metres of water per second. The photo at the top left shows the 3 pump impellers from the original St Germans. One is now located at our office in March, and one remains on site at St Germans to commemorate the old station. In terms of the current St Germans pumping station, work started on site in 2006 with the installation of a cofferdam downstream of the 1934 station. A bypass channel was created at the side so water could continue to be discharged to sea. The area contained within the cofferdam was larger than a football pitch, and the depth of the suction bays was some 6 metres below ground level. In 2010, the cofferdam was breached to enable the new station to become operational, and the channel in between the old and new station was dredged of tidal silt. The bypass channel was decommissioned, and the transfer of operations from old to new station took just 4 days. The old station was decommissioned and then removed. The current station has 6 electric powered pumps and has the capability to pump 100 cubic metres of water per second from the middle level system into the Great Ouse Tidal River. This is the equivalent of draining an Olympic-sized swimming pool in 25 seconds. When opened, it was the largest land drainage and flood management pumping station in Europe. Now it is the largest in the United Kingdom. The station was designed with an 80-year design life and will require major refurbishments at approximately 20-year intervals. St Germans pumping station has been and continues to be crucial in enabling communities within and around the Cambridgeshire and Norfolk Fens to grow and prosper, and crucially help feed the nation given the high quality of agricultural land in the area. However, the station does not work in isolation. It is a key asset within a complex suite of critical infrastructure comprising embankments, sluices, pumping stations and washlands owned and operated by the Middle Level Commissioners, the Environment Agency and other internal drainage boards across the Fens. 2023-24 broke records for the volume of water pumped by the new station, a colossal 227,230 million litres. For context, the volume of Rutland Water, England's second largest lake, is 140,000 million litres. Whilst there are not comparable records for the old station, this statistic is unlikely to have been exceeded in the past. Please also remember that the majority of water will have already been pumped either once or twice before it gets to St Germans. The network of channels and embankments which, in large parts of our system, convey water at a higher level than the surrounding land are themselves as critical as St Germans pumping station. So that's 90 years of pumping celebrated. What about the next 90 years? The climate is changing, agriculture is ever changing, and there are important choices ahead for communities, for industry, business, local and national government. This infrastructure deserves to be respected and valued by all who benefit from it, locally, regionally and nationally. Investment, foresight and innovation will be needed in equal measure in the years ahead as St Germans pumping station evolves through its 80-year life and society assesses, determines and deliver whatever the next generation wonder of the Fens will be.